Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage. Hope you're all doing well. I'm totally not trying to post this, the week that it's dropping, but honestly, this one kind of snuck up on me. We have the Lycoris Recoil Premium Booster that is coming out this Friday as of the recording of this, and I completely and totally forgot about that. There's another set coming out the same day, which is the Project Sekai, so I just was like, oh yeah, I forgot this was coming out as well. So for this premium booster though, it's only 54 cards, so I figured we can knock this out in a video pretty quickly. So that's what we're going to try to do here today. So Lycoris Recoil already has a set in English Weiss for anyone who doesn't know. I thought it came out like way further back, but it came out last year in 2024. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. A booster set and a trial deck both came out last year. So this is more probably going to be like an upgrade thing, although I'm certain there's other Climax combos that in here that are really good. But let's hop right into it. For anyone who's never seen one of my first impressions videos, for the regular sets, I typically try to at least showcase the double rares and then go from there and try to look at the other cards, but at least try to highlight the double rares in every single color. But with premium boosters, you have only one rarity, which is normal rarity, and then you have the higher versions of them. So I'm just going to try to go through every card, and let's check it out. Because honestly, I like Lycoris Recoil. It's a tongue twister there. So let's start this. So I remember Chisato and Takina, because I remember watching the anime for this. It's been a minute, though. And how there was like the synergy between the two of those. So let's see what all else they have for this. So first off, we have this 0-0 Chisato, Lycoris Recoil, and Weapon. If a Climax with a choice trigger is in your Climax area, this card in any area gains the choice trigger. Awesome. I want to say it does. The first set should have choice in it. It's just a... Oh, okay, well, even here. Climax combos are for the 1-0 Takina and 3-2 Chisato. Choice combos from set 1. So there's more choice from that, so definitely work. All right. When this is placed on stage from hand, if you have 6 or less hands, you can discard a particular one of 2 climaxes to salvage back the other. So just in general, it's just meant to facilitate the choice combos and everything. And it itself allows you to basically run a 12 choice deck if there's not more that do the same thing. So really nice to see that. And I love the art for this as well. I will go back and show off like the SPs and whatnot at the very end. But even that one looks really freaking cool. Like just right off the bat. So, all right. Next is, we have another 0-0 Chisato. I think it's going to be mostly like Chisato and Takina for this, but they might have the other characters in here. This next one's a 0-0 1K. When this is placed on stage, perform the following effect twice. Look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or bottom of your deck or into your waiting room. So just get to filter like the top 2 cards and see if it's something you want. Like, oh, here's a climax. Let me just go ahead and brainstorm or something, Next one is 0-0 2K. Placed on stage from hand, gets X times the number of your Lycoris Recoil or Weapon characters. So it counts herself. So it counts herself with a full field. When you do this, can gain 5K. Okay, interesting. So you can become like a 007. Like, okay, that's like massive. 0025 Takina. When this is placed on stage from hand, send one of your other characters to the waiting room. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 climax, show it to your opponent, choose up to 1 climax in your hand, show it to your opponent, and swap them. Okay, so the cost is sacking another character to do a climax swap from deck. Interesting. So we already had 2 climax swappers in the first 4 cards. Interesting. It's just one of those things. Wait, what? What is this? Oh, it's a backup, but you back up for like nothing? Unless they forgot to... some days, as much as I love Weiss Tea Time, some days they get stuff wrong. I don't know if this is wrong or not. I'm just stating... It just says backup plus 0. But it's kind of understandable if that's how this works. It's a 1-0... backup. Says when you use this card's backup, all of the battling characters gain the following ability. When this is sent from stage to waiting room, you return it to its former slot rested. Interesting. Okay, so maybe it's not meant to be a backup, because there's events that do this, right? So you like it's basically just taking the place of an event. So if it truly doesn't give any buff, which I'm assuming probably correct because I don't see any numbers down here that say that like a buff number would occur. I'm assuming it's just for the like, oh, I give this thing like a free encore basically. Okay. 101k Takina when you pay the act of Cafe Lycoris. Is that going to be this one? Hold on. It's a different Lycoris, so it's a different one, I don't think. Let's see, because it doesn't say 105, because this is not 105, it's WE47 for the code. But let's just check real quick. 09. Okay, the 9 here is a Mizuki, so it's definitely something from the first set. When you pay the act cost of a particular Takina from the first set, you may discard this card in place of 1 or 2 stock. I've seen this before. I'm trying to remember what set it was. There was another set that I saw something similar to this on it. Act. Sack this to search your deck for a Shrewd Accountant Takina. Once again, the same code, so from the first set. Place it on stage in this card's former slot. So you just immediately summons that. Okay. If you're level 2 or higher, you can pay 1 sack this to summon the Takina that it can pay for the act for. So you want like multiples of these because then you can sack this, summon that, but then you can also discard multiple copies of this for the stock cost, it seems, for the act effect. Okay, cool. Also, the SP for that is very cute. We'll try to showcase like the SPs and whatnot at the end. Takina, 104k. When this attacks, this turn gets 1,000 times your other Lycoris. And it's a level 2 Slayer. When it attacks a level 2, it gets 3k. So, other Lycoris times 1,000, so max of 4k. So it becomes an 8k. It can become an 8k in general, which is like, if you have a full field, you get like, that's really big. And if it hits a level 2, that's an additional 3, so that's 11. That's about par for the course for some level 2 Slayers. I've seen some get higher than that, but still. Alright, so we have a Climax. 2-1. Oh, this is a backup. It's a 3k backup. While this is in your waiting room at the start of your encore step, you can sack a particular Climax to add this back to hand. Interesting. Okay. It combos with a 2-1 Kurumi from the first set. 105 is from the first set. So even the Climax that it uses is from the first set as well. Interesting. Mizuki. 217k, looking fabulous, if I do say so myself. When this is placed on stage from hand, pay 1, pitch 1, choose one of your opponent's characters, return it to their hand, as well as on play, discard, choose one of your opponent's level 1 or higher characters, and you get to level them down. You get to make them swap with a character in their waiting room, with at least 1 level lower. So, interesting. 3-2 Takina, 9k. When this is placed on stage from hand, heal 1, then this gets 1500 power for the turn, so it'll be a 10-5 for at least 1 turn. At least your turn, it's not cross turn. When this attacks, if you have another Lycoris in character, you can pay 1, discard 1. If you do, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. Choose up to 2 cards amongst them. Put it back on top of your opponent's deck in any order, then send the rest to waiting room. Okay, so just get to do some top check shenanigans. Not bad. We don't get to see the regular art of this. We just see the SP art for this Chisato. So there's another art here that hasn't been shown. Interesting. Interesting. A 0-0 Chisato. We might see some like funny shenanigans. This isn't the same as like the Yuji from Shana. You do not take 4 or more damage from the auto effects of your opponent's characters. But there's a lot of cards with that profile of burning for like 4. So that's something to kind of be mindful of. It's a global 500 to Lycoris, and then it is a level swap. Rest this, choose a card in your level, and one in your waiting, one Lycoris character in waiting room, swap them. This does a lot of stuff. This is interesting, and it has an SP version. Even the Chisato under it has a very, very nice looking SP. Or maybe that's... Yeah, I think that's just supposed to be an SP. Really cool. A lot of SPs already. We're only 12 cards in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in like just a handful of cards, really. That's kind of cool. All right, so 001K Chisato. It has a soul trigger. Very nice. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, put a Lycoris from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock. If you do, search your deck for 1 level 1 or lower character, add it to your hand. So it's from Waiting Room, Ricky. Very, very nice. So that's going to be big. So the SP for this is probably going to be kind of pricey. Very cool. Let's see. I keep reading the LRP, which is the Lycoris rarity or whatever, and I just keep seeing LARP. 001K, assist to 500 in front, and an act of discard a card, sack this to salvage. Okay. Chisato 0015, bond with a particular 3/2 Takina, coming up at number 49, so it's a wow. Why is there another level swap? Act, pay 1, sack this, choose a Lycoris from your hand, and 1 Lycoris in your level and swap them. Okay, it swaps from hand, not waiting room. Okay, so you have multiple level swaps. Interesting. There's got to be something later that really incorporates that, right? Also, I realized we went from yellow in 10 cards to now we're in red. Interesting. 0015 Chisato, when this is placed on stage from your hand, if your opponent has 1 or less characters in the front row, choose a cost 0 lower character in your opponent's front row, send it to waiting room. Typical, just like trying to nuke your opponent's stuff there. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can put the top card of your deck into your clock. If you do, put the top card of your deck into stock. It's like deal a damage to get the stock, which is not bad at level 0. I kind of am okay with that. I don't hate it. Okay. 002K Chisato, at the start of your opponent's draw phase. If this is in your front row, you can mill 1. If that card is level 1 or higher, return this card to hand, so it bounces back. Very nice. Oh, sorry. Got a yawn there. Well, this is placed on stage from hand. If you have Oozing Bloodthirst Takina in your level zone, you can discard 1. If you do, salvage back a Lycoris character. Oh, this is interesting. So you could do this and just keep using that bounce back over and over and over. Very interesting. So the first real experience thing we have is needing... Oh, let's say first. Wasn't there another one? No, that was sack. Okay, so we didn't really have any other experience-based stuff. So this is the first one where you had to have a specific Takina in your level zone. And that's number... Oh, that is a Takina from the first set, so I don't even know what that is. Okay. Mizuki was sent from stage to waiting room. Look it up to 3 cards from top of deck. Choose a climax amongst them. Add it to hand. If you added a card, discard a card. Very nice. Chisato 10. During your turn, this gains 5k, so it'll be a 6/5. Placed on stage from hand, you can choose 1 2/1 Takina from your waiting room. Put it underneath this card, face up as a marker. When this card's damage is canceled, you may choose 1 marker underneath this card and add it to hand. So you could possibly just get a card for free if her damage gets canceled, which is funny. Okay. All right, we have a climax combo. We have 1035 Chisato and Takina. During your turn, if you have another Lycoris, this gains 3k, so it'll be 65. Combos with a door, so 75. When the door climax is placed in your climax area, if this is in your front row and you have another Lycoris, search your deck for a Lycoris, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, and then this gets 1,000 power till end of turn. So we get 85 and just on play search. Kind of nice. I kind of like that. It's just the trade-off being obviously not very strong defensively. But I mean, I'm certain people are going to be able to make it work, so... 1035, when your other Lycoris character attacks, this gets 15. So it's basically the same amount. You have this attack last, it'll be at a 1065. When this is placed on stage from your hand or attacks, this is both. If the sum of levels of cards in your level zone is 2 or more, which matters, choose a Lycoris. You can discard a climax to salvage back a Lycoris character. So if you have a bunch of climaxes in hand, you could get this off 2 times in the same turn. On play, and then on attack. Okay. That could be a lot of really nice hand fixing if that works out in your favor. Hell yeah. We have a 1/0/45. The turn it's placed on stage from hand gets 500 times the number of your opponent's characters. So if they have a full field, you're a 7? Yeah, 5 times 25 plus 45, 7. Okay. This is interesting. Okay, so brainstorm, pay 1, rest 1 of your other 0/0 Takina and Chisato, which is number 41 coming up. You don't rest itself. So you can still attack with it, but you have to specifically rest a particular Takina and Chisato. Flip over 4 cards from the top of your deck. For each climax amongst them, search your deck for a character. You just have to like be able to rest this specific level 0. Interesting. 1/1 Chisato. This ability activates up to once per turn during your main phase when your other encouraging Takina is placed on stage from hand. Stand this. Huh. Oh, so during main phase, if you're able to summon it off of something else. Oh, no, it's specifically from hand. So, okay, so you can tap this, give someone a buff, because the next one is, 2 different things. Act. Rest this, choose it like a Rico, and it gets 2k power and +1 soul. Or act, discard a like a Rico, rest this, draw a card. So you can do one of these, summon the Takina, and then stand it and do another effect again. Very nice. You get to double up on there. Another 1/1 Chisato. Yeah, so it's mainly at Chisato. We've seen Chisato, Takina, and Mizuki. It's mainly just those. Okay. Let's see. Level assist. When you trigger a climax with a door, your opponent mills 4. If there's no markers underneath this card, you may choose up to 1 card from your waiting room and put it underneath this card face up as a marker. The random mill 4 is kind of funky. I guess if it forces, like, if the best time for that is if your opponent's about to refresh and you've counted and you're like, oh, there's like 1 or 2 climaxes in the top, like 3 or 4 cards of their deck, right? I mean, it's whatever, but it's really funny because they do get sent to waiting room. And to my knowledge, that means they would still, if it was any climaxes that get milled, they would immediately go back in. But it is really funny to do that and make your opponent like refresh off of that. If you're like, oh, I know that you have like 2 guaranteed like cancels sitting on top of your deck or something, and make them mill. Act, pay 1, send a marker underneath this to waiting room, choose one of your opponent's characters, return it to hand. This is all like messing with your opponent's stuff. Like, what the hell? What? Hold on. 2,500 backup. When you use this card's backup, you or your opponent mills X. X is equal to the number of climaxes with a door trigger in your waiting room. You can make yourself mill or your opponent. The option of that is kind of nice. Not gonna lie. Okay. Color me impressed so far, Lycoris Recoil. Chisato, placed on stage from hand. Choose a character, give it a soul. Act, sack this to bounce back one of your opponent's characters. It's a 2/1. This one. Oh, this is also an SP. Sorry, behind my fat head. We have another 2/1 Chisato. 2k assist to level 3 or higher at the start of your encore. You can sack a particular climax from the first set, so I don't know which one it is. If you do, salvage back a character. Discard a particular Chisato from the first set. Rest this to heal 1. Interesting. Also, I really like the art for these. Very cool. We have a lot of different things that I'm trying to absorb as much as I possibly can. There's a lot of interesting utility and just the synergy from the first set. It encourages you to want to use as much as possible from the first set. So, understandable. Honestly, I'm kind of like, as much as I don't like the how premium boosters work, I don't mind it if it works this way, where it's like, oh hey, this is benefiting like every single possible deck you could build from the first set. Like, I like that. That's cool. All right, another 2/1 Chisato. Placed on stage from hand if you have 4 or more other Lycoris characters. Pay 1. If you do, your opponent sends all of their stock to their deck, shuffles their deck, and puts an equal number of cards from the top of their deck into their stock. So stock shuffle, very nice. And it's a level 3 Slayer, so it'll become a 12/5. Okay. Another SP as well. We'll take a look at that at the end. 3/2 Chisato and Takina. Heal 1 on play. On attack, if you have the standby, pay 2, pitch 2. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent. Then your opponent mills 10, And this turn, this gets 4k power. When this is placed on stage by the effect of standby, you may return this to hand? Okay, hold on. Okay. So if you summon this off of a particular, any standby, I guess that makes it so it's still useful because then you can still like heal one. And you just like hard cast it. But it's optional. If you want to leave it up there so you can still do the climax combo, that's cool. Or if you're like, oh, I top checked. Okay, so an interesting like thing you could do for that is if you've top checked, you know you're gonna play you're gonna hit a standby, but you also want to play a standby, right? You play the standby, you summon this, you add it back to hand, and then when you trigger the one that's on top of the deck or whatever, you can summon something else in its spot. So it's not like you lose out. Interesting. Okay. Majima 3/2 10,500. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a particular Majima from the first set. Or sorry, put it from your waiting room on the bottom of your clock. Different thing altogether. Choose a character in your waiting room, add it to hand. When this attacks, if you have cutting ties in your climax area, this climax also combos with another Majima from the first set. And all players are level 3 or higher. Pay 3, pitch 3. All players send their clock to the waiting room, then deal 4 damage to your opponent. This turn, this gets 3k power. This is interesting in the fact of you can save yourself from almost dying. It's not that big of a detriment if your opponent doesn't have that much like damage in their clock to begin with, right? And then you get to try to burn them anyway. So that's kind of interesting right there. I love this art. This is very cute. 2/1 event. Oh, the climax is also really, really cute. I love that. If you have a Lycoris or weapon, you can discard a Lycoris. Search your deck for up to 2 Lycoris characters. Show them to your opponent. Add them to your hand. This turn, then choose one of your characters. This turn it gets 3k power. Okay. Very, very good events there. And honestly, I think that's really cute. I think this could be a very good event to use like in multiple decks. We have 1 door, and we have 1 standby. This is 32. Is that this one? All right, so that standby combos with that one specifically. Cool. All right, on to the blues, and we are number 33. We don't have that much left. 0/0 Takina. This is another SP right here. This is placed on stage from hand. Reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Lycoris character, choose a character, gets 3k. Placed on stage. Ooh. Interesting. When this is placed on stage from hand, pay 1. If you do choose one of the traits of your opponent's characters, this turn all of your opponent's characters lose that particular trait. I call music. You're like, oh my goodness. That could actually mess somebody up a lot, depending on the deck. That's nasty. That's a funny tech. Like, if you pick up nothing else from this set, like, you're going to grab other stuff from this set, let's be real. But if you are maining Lycoris, if nothing else, grab this Takina. That's too funny. So 3/4. If this is in your front row center slot, this gains +1 soul. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a card, reveal the top card of your deck, and salvage according to whatever you top checked. Okay, cool. Takina, placed on stage from hand. Choose a card in your clock, add it to your hand. If you do, choose a card in your hand to put into your clock. Just very nice how that's like swap there. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can discard a climax with a pants trigger to salvage back a Lycoris. This is just really good utility as well. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Sorry. Okay, there was like no art for that one. It's whatever. Oh, we have a Kurumi. Choose one of your Lycoris characters, give it 2k, rest this, and then another rest. Choose one of your opponent's characters, send it to memory, then your opponent places that character on stage in a slot. So you either give something a buff or blink something out if it has like lingering effects and whatnot. 37, you can only run up to 4 copies of this card or a particular Lycoris Fuki from your deck. So you can only run one or the other. It kind of restricts itself in that regard. When your character direct attacks, choose one of your opponent's front row characters. It gains -1k. Look at up to 4 cards on the top of your deck. Send this to clock. Look at up to 4. Choose a Lycoris amongst them. Add it to your hand. The rest go to waiting room. And there's an SP for that one. 00 Takina. Start of your climax phase. If this is rested, send this to memory. And if you do at the start of your next draw phase, choose this card from memory. Place it on stage in any slot. At the start of your climax. Oh, is this the Takina that you had to specifically rest for another card? Yeah. So this is the one that like you specifically use for that. Okay, interesting. There's a lot of shenanigans for this. Okay, hold on. What was that? It was a Chisato, right? Or it was either a Chisato or another Takina. It was a 2. No, it was a 1-0 Takina. That's what it was. It was a 1-0. It was the Brainstorm. Yeah. Okay. It was this Chisato. No. It was a Takina Chisato. Okay, so it's not this one. But if you rest it for like another effect, you can still do shenanigans. Okay, let's go back to it. It was this one. So if you rest the... well, so if you just rest it with its own Brainstorm. So if you Brainstorm, you can blink this out. Then, like, say if some other stuff dies and you don't want to, like, waste your back row or something. Or you want to bounce this to memory for, like, playing a standby or something. This is interesting. I kind of like this. This lets you do a lot of interesting things. Pay 1, rest this mill 4 for each climax, search your deck for a Lyco. Okay, very nice. Takina in a suit. I like it. Very, very fabulous. 0015. Pay 1, pitch 1 on play. Look at the 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 1 card amongst them. Add to hands and the rest to waiting room. When a climax gets played, bounce this back. Choose one of your characters that gains 2k power till end of turn. Okay. 00 Takina, if you have 3 or less stock, this gains 1,000, so it'll be a 3k. At the start of your climax phase, if this is in your front row, you can put the top card of your deck into clock. If you do, search your deck for a Lycoris, show it to your opponent, then discard a card. Okay, so, or you add that one to hand and then discard a card. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. I love this art. This is so cute. Yuri-tastic. Okay, 2k. When the pants is placed in your climax area, number 53, so another 12 cards. If this is in your back row... Oh, this is the Takina Chisato for the Brainstorm. Okay. If this is in your back row and you have 3 or more other front row Lycoris, choose a Lycoris in waiting room, add it to hand. So it lets you salvage off of playing a pants, basically, if you have enough characters. And then you can rest this anyway to give something 1,000. But I want to say this is the one that you could rest for the Brainstorm effect anyway. So, very nice there. And this is really, really cute. Which, if you do multiples of this is where something could be interesting. If you have multiple... This doesn't have a restriction where it says, like, you can only run this particular... Like one of this card. Because I've seen some other profiles like that, say, in Nikkei. But, if you run 2 of these, you could salvage off the same pants. Because you play the pants, and if you have basically 2 of these back row and 3 in center stage, a full field. You could play the pants coming up, and if it doesn't combo with something else, it's whatever. You can still salvage back 2. So that's a very interesting like engine right there. To just pants as much as possible, and just let that be your salvaging. Or pants with that particular one, and just let that be your engine is just salvaging back as much as possible. It also fits using that particular Brainstormer, because then you can make certain that you have cards to be able to salvage back. That's interesting. I like that synergy. Okay, really cool. That's LRP. All right. Anyway, moving on. We don't have much more left to go, but that's a good thing. 1045 Takina, place on stage from hand. Pay 1, send one of your other Lycoris characters on stage to waiting room. If you do, choose a character in your waiting room, add it to hand. Experience of 2 or more on attack. If you have experience 2 or higher, this gains 2k. So far, we haven't seen any egregious experience cost, so it's only been like 2s. Okay, that's cool. Place on stage from hand, this gains 15. I was like, wait, is this the same effect? Sorry. When it attacks, if you have experience 2 or more, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 1 or higher, send it to stock. Okay. A 2/1, 2k. During your turn, this gains 10,000. It's a fucking 12k. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose up to 2 of a particular 1-0 Chisato from your waiting room. Place them underneath this card, face up as markers in any order. When this card's damage is canceled, choose up to 2 markers underneath this card, send them to stock in any order. More of the whole like damage cancel with markers to bounce back stuff and do stuff. Interesting. I just don't like how weak it is. Like it becomes a 2K. It's a dead card at that point. As long as it takes out something, right? We have a 25. That's really cool. Really good art. 2,500 backup. When you use this card's backup, you can pay 2 to shuffle all cards from your waiting room into your deck. So just get to refresh off of that without taking the damage. That is how you forget to take that refresh point. 2135. When a climax is placed in your climax area, choose one of your characters until the end of your opponent's next turn. It gets 4K. That's kind of nasty. Resonate. Reveal the new 3/2 Takina, number 49, from your hand. Rest this. Your opponent mills 4. What is with all these cards in this set doing like effects to make you or your opponent just mill? We've seen it on a level 3. We've seen it on... Oh, there was another one that did it. There was a backup that said you or your opponent mills. This mills. There's a lot of just... I'm going to make you... I'm going to turn your deck into a Lightsworn deck. If you know that reference, awesome. But the first effect alone is busted. The second thing with like the Resonate... And we haven't seen any other Resonate stuff. It's just been this one card. Interesting. The 3/2 Takina is this one. So, a lot of effects on that one. 2/1 Takina. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose up to 2 of your opponent's characters. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't move to other slots. This lets you really, really mess with your opponent, which is just kind of crazy. When this is reversed, if the battle level is higher than your opponent's level, you can send that character to the bottom of your opponent's deck. I was about to say clock, and I realized that's wrong. Deck. So, anti-standby shenanigans for days, both in you can't move those back rows, you just standbyed in, and, oh, you have something that's a higher level higher than your level, get it off the stage. Like, hell yeah. Awesome. A 2/2 Takina, during your turn, all of your other characters gain 15. At the start of your attack phase, choose one of your unpredictable attack Chisatos, which is from the first set, or the new 3/2 Chisato and Takina Climax combo, number 28. Sorry, just going to go ahead and check it right now. This level 3 for the standby. Okay, so it's with the standby, just for context. Here we go. This turn, it gets 1,000 power and the following ability of being able to pay 1 to Twin Drive. Interesting. So, and that, like, Chisato and Takina did stuff with its climax combo and everything. Okay. Very interesting. And I guess also being able to do the trigger check twice for like possible standby shenanigans where you can add more of that level 3 back to your hand could possibly come up and matter. A 3/2 Takina. If you have 4 more Lycoris minus level in hand, very easy. On play, choose one of the following 2 effects. Either draw 2, pitch 1, or discard 1, put the top card of clock into stock. Very nice. When this attacks, if you have another Lycoris character, this gets 3K, so it'll be an 11, which is whatever. But the utility here is very nice. Get to pick one or the other. 3/2 Chisato. If you have a copy of this in your level zone, it gets minus the level in hand. Very simple. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can choose a copy of this in your level zone and 1 character in your stage and swap the... Oh, you get to early play this, but then summon another copy of it from the level. Interesting. Oh, maybe that's why the experience costs aren't that high. Because then you could send like a level 0 if you wanted. When this attacks, if you have another pants trigger in play, pay 1, pitch 1. If you have another Lycoris, burn 2, and then this gains 2k power. So it's not egregious, but being able to swarm like that for like 2 stock and sacking a character, essentially sacking a character. It's not exactly sacking, but you're essentially performing a ritual and you're tributing something to be able to summon another level 3, which is at level 2, which is kind of crazy because then both of these can do the pay 1, pitch 1, burn 2. Like, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. Or you can still do that at level 3. It's kind of whatever. 3/2, 11k base power. Chisato and Takino, and this is placed on stage from hand. You may choose one particular event called Days Spent Together. It's from the first set in your waiting room. Add it to hand. So just add that back. I don't remember what that is. Oh, its downside is it has no soul trigger. So it's just a blank. You can't grab it off of like choice or whatever. And no extra damage. Very, very cute artwork as well. I've loved the artwork for this set so far. During the turn, this was placed on stage from hand. At the start of your climax phase, if you do not have another copy of this, you can pay one and sack this. If you do, search your deck for up to one character, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, then choose up to one Days that'll continue on Chisato from the first set, and one of the same name from your hand. Place them on stage in separate slots. Shuffle your deck afterwards, and this turn they gain the ability that during the card's battle, your opponent cannot play events from hand. So you basically get to sack this to summon two more copies. Or two other, like one Chisato and one particular Takina. Like I said, I wish I knew like most of these up here, but I just don't remember them from the first set. So I love how much synergy there is. This is like trying to support that first set as much as possible, and I love that. So this is really cool. I like it. All right, 2-0 counter event, and this is going to be it. If you have two or less Lycoris Recoil characters, this cannot be played from hand. Ugh. Choose up to one Lycoris Recoil character this turn. It gains the ability. This cannot become reversed, which is nice. And discard a Lycoris Recoil. You can choose an opponent's character. Give it -1 soul. All right. And that is going to be it. We have the pants 53, 54, and that is going to be it. So we are going to scoot over her. Boogity, boogity, boogity. We're just going to do like this. So we're going to go back through and we're going to take a look-see at all the SPs and just this art in general, because I like the art from this set. It is very nice. So there is a SIR version of this. Interesting. Okay, so there's a Sir. So there's another. This is the LRP version, but there's another version of this. Might be like a higher rarity. I like how much of it fully supports the first set, but it also means if you didn't invest in it, there's an SP right there. It also means if you didn't invest in the first set, this also has an SIR apparently. It means I'm certain you probably could build something just with this premium booster. But it feels like you're very limited in what you would be able to build from this premium booster. Not that you wouldn't be able to, but it's so much more in your advantage in favor. SIR there as well. If you've picked up stuff from the first set. Even if you just pick up trial deck stuff, but at the same time, there are specific cards it wants you to work with, meaning this is one of the first SPs, or this is one of the other SPs, meaning those respective cards will go up in price if it ends up being a deck that gets highly played. Another SP right there. Very nice. I love this. Is so cute right here. I love the cherry blossoms and everything. I was supposed to say something else. This is adorable. I want to go back and watch this show again. Don't do this to me. Very, very cute SP as well from Chisato. Chisato is just such an awesome character. Another SP here. We're getting close to the end of it. Another SI. I want to know what the fucking SIR thing is, but whatever. If y'all know, tell me down below. Much appreciated. But like I said, I like it, but it does feel very first set focused. That is actually gorgeous. Look at that SP, y'all. That is gorgeous. Honestly, color me impressed. Okay, cool. I think there's only like one more in yellow. It was this Takina, yeah. That's also very adorable. No, it was one more. It was this one. We are gonna end, so just sorry. I want to make certain I give each card its proper showing, but we are gonna go back down here to the other Chisato, because honestly Chisato is my favorite. But that looks sick right there. That is so cool as one of the SPs. That is awesome. But no, I like the set. Like I said, this was very, very late me posting this, but it's whatever. This week is mostly going to be like first impressions and stuff anyway. Because I also have to post up the Miku one, but that's whatever. I am interested in this, but I won't be building anything from this because the only thing I got from the first set was the trial decks. So I personally can't really build anything, but we'll see if anybody in the community wants to cook up anything and maybe post some stuff. We'll see if we got any Community Friday stuff coming up. That would be really cool. Once the set drops and everything, obviously. So we'll wait until the set drops and then we'll see what stuff gets posted. I'll try to keep an eye on prices for cards from both sets. But yeah, that is going to be it for us today. This is really cool. I'm interested in how this set functions when it comes out because I don't remember all the cards that it's like, oh, if this from the first set, that from the first set, I don't remember those cards. So there could be some really, really broken synergy in here that may just change things completely for that first set. I just don't remember them, but it's whatever. I'm certain there will be people who have been cooking that already. So it'll be very interesting. Thank you all very much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that cringy YouTuber shenanigans. And we will see y'all on the flip side. Y'all stay based.